everyone. I'm your teacher for today, Miss Jenny Vergara. And for our topic, this is the lesson 8, major issues affecting the poor and the marginalized. So for the first slide, kindly read this one.
A important purpose when planning a community action program is to address the issue confronted by different communities. In the Philippines, the poor and the marginalized group are challenged with different issues and would need attention and support from other groups to be able to eventually surpass these issues.
Okay, so thank you for that. For the first bullet, this is the saying that we must really think our plan before making an action. We must look at the sides or things that might get affected. Why? Because if something or someone got affected by it, it can cause a big problem. So the next one is the Philippines is having an issue. So that it needs a attention or support from the government or the officials. Example of this is the issue about the poverty. Poverty, it is a big problem of the Philippines. We all know that. So, the officials need to pay attention and support to surpass this issue and to solve this problem perfectly. So, the next one is the marginalized. Kindly read this one again.
Marginalized, excluded from existing outside the mainstream of society, a group, or a school of thought. Marginalized populations are groups and communities that experience discrimination and exclusion because of unequal power relationship across economic, political, social, and cultural dimensions.
So, the marginalized, it is an individual or group express little interest in maintaining the cultural ties with the dominant culture or the migrant culture. So, example, when the US government forced the Native Americans to live apart from the other members of their nations, it's just like when you're a black and white American, you have a separated comfort room. If you're a black American, you have a separate comfort room. If you're a white American, you have a separate comfort room also. So, you're not going to combine. You are separated. So, it's like a discrimination. It's a discrimination to your color. So, the next one is the major causes of the poverty. Low to moderate low economic growth for the past year, low growth elasticity or not being able to return to its better condition of poverty reduction, weakness in employment generation, and the quality of jobs generated. So in this slide, you can see the some causes of poverty. So when the economic growth is not increasing, it might affect a lot of people. So many will be suffering. And if we are only continuously growing but we don't have a proper evolution, it can also be a problem because it's not properly circulating. So this is the other causes of poverty. The failure to fully develop the agriculture sector, high inflation or the general increase of prices of goods and services during the crisis periods, high level of population growth. So this one is about our agriculture. If we are not continuous if we are continuously increasing prices of things, it can affect people like example the farmers. They are the one who's working but they can only have a small amount of their work. But how much is 1 kilo of rice? It's it's like 50 50 pesos a kilo per kilo. It's not just fair. So, next one is the family planning. Family planning is also a must. If every family is planning, they can give a better life and care for them, for themselves, and for their children. They can feed each of them 3 times a day. And it is because you have a plan. You have a plan to your family or having a family. So the next one is the other causes of the poverty. This is the last one. So the high and persistent level of inequality in the income and assets which dampen the positive impacts of economic expansion. Some recurrent shocks and exposure to risks such as economic crisis, conflict, natural disaster, and environmental poverty. So in this one, some people are committing crime. Why? Because they are the poor. They think doing bad is only the way for them to live. Is only the way for them to have an income. But no, they are not only doing a an action for them to live or for them to have a proper job. But if the government is making an action of this problem, the the crime for for this poverty is will not going to increase. And also the economic crisis like natural disaster is one of the cause of poverty because we don't know natural disaster is always there. It can affect all of us. Even you, even me, it can affect it. Why? Because natural disaster, it's natural. It can flood, it can go some volcanic eruption like that, and it will affect all of us. So here are the reported violence cases in the Philippines. It is reported that in the Philippines, the poor remain poor as a result of two principal factors to the persistence of structural inequalities and political uncertainty. Conflict violence are generated by poverty, inequality in the political power, and economic resources in the hands of the elite, marginalization, and poor governance. And I will continue this. A large majority of farmers and peasants do not own the land on which they work, and this discourages agricultural improvements and diversification of crops. High rate of urban poverty is largely a direct consequence of rural poverty. The migration flow of the poor to the cities has led to a rapid urbanization process that has produced new urban poor and unemployment, and lack of housing and basic services. So let's back. So for this one, poor remain poor. You can see that if the government is not doing the right thing, the poor will remain poor. If the government is not doing an action for us to have a better life, if the government is not helping us to have a better situation to live, the poor will always be poor. And for this one, so it's about the farmers that they don't have their permanent place or land to plan so that it affect their living and their work. So next is the unemployment. Unemployment is a major cause of poverty. Why? Because when you don't have work, you don't have enough money to buy your essential things. Yes, you have a family, you have a friends, you have people around there. But for you, for yourself, you don't have a thing that you can support only yourself. Example, when you're in a family and you're the oldest one and you don't have a work, you're going to have or to find a proper work. Why? Because you have people or you have other relatives to live or to give food, to feed them. So you need a proper job. So the next one is the issues of the poor and marginalized in relation in violence. So in this one, it is the discrimination. I think this is the discrimination sides of the Filipino peoples. Indigenous people's rights to violence. So we all know that indigenous people is the one who's let's say the old Filipino cultures, right? They have sometimes they are being abused because of they are indeed they are part of indigenous people. So in that case, um, if you're a poor, some people see if you're part of indigenous people, you're really poor. But I think it's not. It's only the mind of people. Next is the housing concern. So in this one, we all know that some people are living in the side of the lakes. They only building their house illegally. But the thing is, they only do that because they are poor, right? They don't have enough money to live. Or more than that, it is the informal settlements because living in beside the lake is really dangerous. Yes, because it can be flat. You can go if you're sleeping, it can the natural disaster can kill you because you're beside the lake. So, but it's okay if the people or the officials um carried you out in respectful way, not in disrespectful way that they will do violence things that will hurt you. So next one is the poverty and violence against women. So we all know that um, having a violence with women is not good. Why? Because some of their some of the victims of this is pointing to killing like that. If you're if you're poor, the the heatness of their mind will process to give you some not good scenarios that you're going to explode and you're going to make violence things against the woman. So if you're the poverty, especially when you don't have a family planning, you can do these things because you don't have money and you don't have a food to eat in a day. You will always think that why am I supposed to live like this? And you will get so angry and hit that woman. You understand me? Okay. Next one is the poverty and violence against children. So this one is really, really sad, but it's true. So, child trafficking is one of the things that you can also do to get some money because you're if you have a child and they are get kidnapped, you're going to pay for your child. So some people is doing that and abusing your child to give or to make you out a money. So it's better to stop violencing all. Stop violence women, children, indigenous people, each of everyone. Stop violence. So extrajudicial killing. So it is not I'm not into this extrajudicial killing because we all know that we have our own life. There are legal process for us to pay our sins, right? So extrajudicial killing is not a good action to stop this issues. So and this is the last part. You can only read this one. And so that's all for today. I hope you guys understand what I say and thank you.
Thank you po.